to my channel. This is Ken Simiyu. Comment and subscribe. This is the countdown to Finance Bill 2024-2025. It is true that the Ruto government has been able to raise the debate on the budget making process in this country. This was something that was never before. This was something that was spoken in low tones. This was a reserve for a few economic analysts on TV stations and radio stations. But as it stands now, even the mamamboga in the village, the bodabodas in the village, I can authoritatively declare here that they are now aware of what the finance bill is all about. Recently I was in a small village called Esrembera in Vihiga, burying one of our renowned Professor Dr. Esther Opisa. And while interacting with the villagers, the issue of the finance bill came up. And I can tell you that those mamas in the village are now well informed about the finance bill. The bodabodas are now well informed about the finance bill. The shopkeepers in the village are now informed about the finance bill and the impact of the finance bill on their day-to-day life in the village. Recently, Kenya was ranked as the second best in East and Central Africa on elevating public participation in the budget-making process. Uganda at 57% was number one. Kenya at 55% was number two. Rwanda took the third position at 50%. Now, the recommended average is 60% and above. That means Kenya is almost there. And that means that in the next budget-making process, 2025-2026, we must now open up more scrutiny to the budget-making process in this country. Now, the finance bill has been very contentious. It has brought out issues that have generated a lot of interest and debate in this country. And part of the issue that I want to look at that have been proposed that have elicited a lot of reactions from Kenyans are the following. One, the VAT on bread. The finance bill has proposed what they are calling the VAT exempt from bread, away from the zero-rated VAT. And that means that the cost of bread is going to go up from 65 shillings a bread. It may go up to 80 shillings. A loaf of bread, 400 grams. And this has elicited a lot of reaction. It's because the people who consume bread mostly are the mamambogas, bodabodas of this world, and almost every Kenyan consumes bread in the morning for breakfast. And that means the finance bill touching on bread, that is a common denominator in a household. It is going to strike at the core of the budget, the core of the cost of living of every Kenyan. Milk has also been affected. The finance bill is proposing 3% export investment promotion levy. And that means that milk is also going to be subjected to a tax rate of 3%. And this will be able to raise the cost of, getting milk. That is a very basic commodity in our household. The locally assembled mobile phones have not been left out. The finance bill has proposed a 16% VAT on locally assembled mobile phones. And this will inhibit the industry that was once now showing a lot of promise. Because for us to grow the economy, then we must encourage enterprises. We must encourage multinational operations. We must encourage small micro enterprise. We must encourage businesses that are, doing manufacturing or assembling within the country. So if you put there VAT of 16%, then the cost of mobile phones is going to go up. And this is going to affect the common man, the citizens of this country, who may not be readily access a simple or a cheap mobile phones. There is also a proposed tax on banking and insurance services. The bankers and the insurers have come out during the public participation, and they have voiced their concern that in the event that we are going to levy the banking and the insurance services, one, very many people will avoid banking with financial institutions. Very many people will avoid banks. Very many people will avoid the M-Pesa. Very many people will avoid the digital platforms, the financial digital platforms. And this will be a setback to our country that has been, been rated as the Silicon Savannah of Africa. So I am hoping that the members of parliament will scrutinize this finance bill, will scrutinize the budget, so that as they, approve the budget and the finance bill, then they can be able to come up with a bill or a budget that is not going to be costly to a common citizen of this country. There is going to be a levy on electric passes. Remember, the president sometimes back launched electric passes in this country. One of the things that, was envisioned that we want to reduce pollution. We want to reduce impact on climate change. So if they are going to introduce 16% VAT on electric motorcycles and solar batteries, that will automatically now affect the program that was, touted as one of the best that the Kenya Kwanza government had ever implemented. There is also going to be a 16% VAT on agricultural production, 16% on inputs and raw materials used in manufacture of agricultural pest control products. Remember, for an economy to grow, we have been saying that we need to stimulate, motivate, and incentivize investors so that they can be able to do production in this country. So if we are going to levy a fee, 16% VAT on this venture, then you realize that most of the multinationals, most of the small micro enterprises may take a backseat and move to another countries. We have what we call the eco-levy tax. And the eco-levy tax is simply an ecological tax that is going to be imposed on various products, like the diapers. For every kg, they have levied at 150 shillings. For every tri-cell batteries, they have been able to levy 720 shillings on a kg. For every plastic packaging material, they have been able to levy 150 shillings. And the experts in the industry have argued that this is going to be a double taxation, because already there is a taxation on this kind of products that is already in existence. So we are seeing a systematic levy of taxes on products that is going to impact this country. The last one that is even more, that has elicited a lot of reaction from the people of this country, is the motor vehicle tax of 2.5%. Now, the motor vehicle tax will be based on the year of manufacture of the car, the model, the engine capacity, and basically it will range between 5,000 to 100,000. And this will require that for every other time you go to buy an insurance, you have to pay that motor vehicle tax. And people in the motor vehicle industry have argued that this is going to make insurance to be very expensive for most of the people, and most of the people will now be able to drive cars on the roads without insurance. Because even with no tax, most of the people have been found on the road with either expired stickers for insurance or no insurance at all. So if you introduce another tax again, then that will become a very tricky affair, and most Kenyans will be hard-pressed. And this will also lead to so many cases like risks on the road, because an insured vehicle is a risky venture on the road. An insured motorcycle is a risky venture on the road. In the event of an accident, that will be a tall order on the owner of the vehicle and the people who are involved in that motor vehicle venture. So in a nutshell, the finance bill is a good bill. The finance bill is constitutional. The finance bill is mandatory. But I'll request the members of parliament that as they retreat to write the report on the finance bill to be presented, they should be able to do a thorough job. And I hope that this time, the public participation that is enshrined in the Constitution will be seriously taken into consideration, so that the views of Kenyans, the views of manufacturers, the views of the key players in every sector will be taken into consideration. But remember, not at the expense of paying tax, because kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea. God bless you. God bless Kenyans.